This is part 2 of my history of communicating with spirits. My spirit guide told me to look up the Meister Eckhart quote because I used it in a video, but I wasn't clear on what it said, so she reminded me. And I'm going to have to I'll have to write it down. Hang on. I got to put this on pause. The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. My eye and God's eye are one eye. One seeing, one knowing, one love. So that's like one of my favorite spiritual quotes because of the depth of the conveyance of understanding about what God is. The source of the universe, whether it had a mind or not, I think not, and then the divine mind evolved from animals, and eventually humans will maybe not be material body. We might become energy bodied beings, like in 1,000, 10,000, million years, whenever. So, on the other hand, we might be extinct and there's no more humans. So, the idea that I understand is that it's like Buddhism, so that which is form is that which is formless, and that which is formless is that which has form. So it's nothing itself that is everything. 0 equals infinity. 0 is unlimited. What limits nothing? Nothing. It's not limited. Nothing can do whatever it wants because there isn't anything to stop it. Hopefully that helps. So anyway, Meister Eckhart said, God is pure nothing. So that's what we are. God is us. So it's the one eye, the one love. When you realize, the kingdom's within, that's helpful. But Christianity is so theistic that rarely do people understand. Meister Eckhart did. He sounds like a Buddhist without ever learning about Buddhism. So it seems like if you can just handle the idea that maybe all of this isn't really anything at all. In the Hindu religion, it's called Maya, an illusion. And the illusion tries to control you. So they talk about Buddha's awakening, and it sounds like Jesus' temptation of Satan, trying to make him think that it's real and he better be afraid, and if he just does what it tells him, he'll be rich and have kingdoms and all that. It's like Buddha, Christ is like, and Christ, they're like, I'd rather be nothing than serve you. So then, he who accepts being nothing is given everything. You know who said that? I did. You can quote me on that. So, there's another, the Tao Te Ching is really a wonderful book. Short, poetic. It says that Be like water that accepts the low places that most people disdain. See, nobody wants to be nothing. You're nothing. It's like an insult. So that's the path to having God become you, according to Eckhart and Buddha and the people that practice Hindu and Sikh. It's get your damn ego out of the way for a minute and be nothing so that you can experience God. It's what a wonderful trade. You get rid of the problem that's you, and you're given the solution that's the all-powerful, the invincible. Because if you're nothing, you're not afraid to live life or death. See what I mean? It's like radical detachment. And I'm realizing how much my mind is going on and on about stuff in traffic. And I'm thinking I got to get ahead of this car and I got to get over into that lane. Instead of just not thinking and going with the flow without any stress, without any turmoil in my mind. Because you can do it either way to a point. If there's sparse traffic, it's real easy to just not be worried about the driving. Just drive, and you don't have to make all these thoughts about it. So I realized that I haven't done that for a long time with my life in general. I'm thinking about it. I'm worrying about things. And it's possible for me, as difficult as it is, to get in a place where I stop worrying and I'm trusting that I'll be provided for. And there's an idea in the Hindu religion called equanimity, and you accept everything equally. So it doesn't matter what happens anyway. You just accept it equally, and you're going to know how to handle it very effectively when you're in a non-concerned state of mind. So you can be happy through all kinds of difficult experiences. So be like water that seeks the low places that most people disdain. We don't have to be something special, you know. It's like the one who's got power is the one that doesn't need to use any power. The power it's the Tao that's the power. It's the God. It's Om, the highest vibration. So sometimes you'll get this knowledge that the power of Om. I went through this, and I started finding video after video on YouTube. One that had Carl Jung in it about Om and explaining it to some degree, and I understood it. I don't know if I can explain what it's like to understand. People say it's ineffable. It's beyond words. It's wonderful. It happened when I was learning the meaning of is it the Mild Mantra? I'll try to find a link and put it in the description. It's Om Sat Chidananda, Parabrahma, Parashatama, Paratma, Sri Bhagavate Namaha. I'm forgetting the pronunciation. Sri Bhagavate. No, the first one's Samhita. And that means, see, that's the one that got me emotional. That's the female component of the Godhead. There's the male and the female. The female is together within your heart. The divine mother, the divine female, is together with you in your heart. And then the male is the mind. It's represented that way. And Shiva's Shakti too. Shiva's the female and Shiva's the mind. The female is within your heart. It's more heart level. It's the body as opposed to the mind. And they're always together. You see what I'm saying? So those are metaphors, the male, female. That's why I like the Tao Te Ching. It doesn't use human metaphors. It's just the way. That's what it's called, the Great Way. And that it appears in Zen Buddhism. So another great book is Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. So he says that through emptiness we solve all of our difficulties. Emptiness is shunyata, zero, zeroness. By being nothing, all problems are solved. It's kind of a reverse logic thing, but when you realize that your unconscious mind is working with these advanced beings that are already there in your mind that know. I was asking my guide, do you know how to tip a car over with my mind? Because she says she's me. And I'm like, oh, so you're using my brain independently. Can you tip a car over with my brain? And she said, wait a minute. Now I can. So she figured out how to do it. It might be useful if there's a car on somebody's leg or something. My spirit guide connects and voila. I've dreamed of doing that, moving cars in my dream when I'm connected with the spirit guide. So, what else was I going to think of? There's the Tao Te Ching and there's the Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. I didn't tell you the rest of that chant, that together within, Sameta means within, and Namaha is like the mind, the sacred mind. So then it says Hari Om Tat Sat. So I think Sat's truth. So I interpret things differently when I see the word truth. So I'm thinking it's truth. Hari Om, the highest vibration, the highest beings are that. They're the Om beings. And there's Tat Nam Asi, thou art that. So, thou art that. You are the highest Om being because it pervades everything. So like her name is Ananda Mahima, and if you see her picture and you realize there's a sacred teaching there, you might have an incredible experience just from seeing the picture. That's what happened with me. And I'm not the only one. So, I read her stuff, her material, after having this experience. I couldn't stop crying for an hour because she died. She really did die in 1985. That's when she died. And she was a very unique guru in India. She's got 25 temples already. And that together within your heart thing was going on. So the Om beings knew I needed to have my heart opened up so I would cry. I hadn't cried since I was a kid. It's right here. See it? Once I got that back, I have it available. It was blocked. I cried for an hour without stopping. We're talking about losing something that's very important. See what I'm saying? They wanted me to know how important this is. Okay, so pay attention for synchronicity. I just got back from a walk down on the shore of Utah Lake. There's a paved trail, plus there's a little trail that goes out closer to the lake that's not paved. I went around that. It's an old Geneva steel mill pond, actually, from years ago. And when I got there, there was people wearing red shirts. And I noticed it said police on a card. And then I was focused with what words I'm hearing them say. So all my attention was on that. And one of them said he's crazy or something. And I'm thinking, don't disrespect me. Because I have power that you don't understand. And this was just thoughts. And then my spirit guide said, with thought, ask him about blah, blah, blah. And she knew all about blah, blah, blah. And he's like, how do you know about blah, blah, blah? And I said, we're going to live it down, don't worry. I'm living it down too. See, I don't even know what cop it is. They were selling t-shirts. See, I've got the idea of selling t-shirts on Team Fairness t-shirts. And there they are, selling t-shirts. And it's what I needed arranged for me so that they know. My spirit guide said, tell him that this is telepathic thought. He doesn't hear her, but he hears my mind. This is how I experience it. So tell him that I will be working with him and helping him. So I repeat the thought with my brain. My spirit guide's going to be helping you. And after it was all over, the guy got this grace, powerful grace. Cool, huh? See, if I didn't know about synchronicity and about the arrangement of God arranges the world, or you can call it the Om beings or your higher power, it really does. And so you have to be aware of that to see that that was arranged. You don't even know this until somebody tells you. Somebody figured it out, and like Carl Jung figured out synchronicity. So we came up with another word for it. It's about the meaning that is conveyed, the meaning of the event. Okay, so she wanted me to talk about my bipolar disorder. So, in my words, bipolar disorder is a method of opening humans up to spirit communication. And there's tricksters, so they convince you of things that are not true, so you can lose your marbles. You can become insane if you're bipolar. And you're believing these trickster spirits, and it's absurd. The stuff that you can believe. And then they use your mind to create. It's like they're toying with your mind. Then when you get beyond that stage, then you have an open channel to spirit communication. These days, a lot of people have this going on because of methamphetamine. And I don't know what other drugs might be harmful, because people get their mind opened up to these trickster spirits. And they're led on a bad path where they're doing harm to other people. And they're encouraged to be greedy instead of altruistic. You got to be selective what spirits you work with. Lisa Miller is on a video today. She was on the news, CBS News, and a person posted, "This is synchronistic," because she's talking about synchronicity, because this white bird lands, huge white egret. She says, "I've never seen the bird there before," or it's like rare that it ever shows up. And it showed up for the news video. The bird wanted to be on the video for the news. And it showed up because they're talking about spirit connection with nature. And Lisa Miller is explaining how a spiritual connection is like the most important thing that happens to a teenage person. It is, because when I went through it, I became suicidal. I had to reject the religion I was raised in. If I would have known about spirituality without religion at that time, it would have saved me a lot of grief. So it's amazing how many people find spirituality through addiction. So bipolar is prone to cause people to have sexual addictions of one form or another. And I went through that. And people like in the East that are familiar with working with people in an accepting way, and they don't moralize. It's like, just come and meditate with us. We don't care about morality right now. Don't even worry about that stuff. Just meditate with us and learn our teaching. So, your priorities change. And it's like, I had to find out, where am I stuck? And I did. I found out. I quit drinking. I was stuck there. And now I'm like abstinent from sex. I don't even want to get turned on. It's not pleasurable. It is, but the pain that goes with it, it changes your psyche. When you get turned on, all these chemicals flood into your system, and it changes your psyche. It changes your mind. It changes how you are. Especially if you fall in love, then it really changes how you are. You become a different person. All your devotion is totally for that female that's going to keep your gene strain going. The child will be born. See what I mean? And that's not what we want. When you get to the point where you're trying to have a God experience, you want who you are to be devoted to finding God. One love, one vision, one I. There's just one of us. The only one that's here is God. When I'm completely vanquished, when I'm nothing, the one that here is God, because I'm not here in an ego sense. So I'm relying on the beings, the most powerful high vibration ones, for everything, because they have the magic. They make things happen. They have the most control of our planet. So the human-like extraterrestrials that exist within our mind, they are the ones that lead us off course, like I've already been talking about. And it matches up with the idea that Satan is the god of this world. See what I'm saying? So you find these things taught in Christianity, but it's become so theistic. It doesn't have enough. The Father is actually you. They don't, you know what I mean? It's like you're devoted to the God out there. That's not it. Like if you read the Gospel of Thomas, which was rejected by the formation of the Roman Empire's Catholic religion, and it was used to conquer the world. Constantine had a dream. He's going to conquer the world with Christianity. And the Gospel of Thomas says, when you understand this, you won't taste death. So it's like the asato ma sat gramaya, tamaso ma jyoti gramaya, meteor ma amritam gramaya. Lead me from death to immortality, from dark to light, from falsehood to truth, from death to immortality. That's like a really old Sanskrit prayer. And so the teacher, through the person that wrote the Gospel of Thomas, the teacher is like the on beings giving us inspiration. They're inspiring us and teaching us internally. And then we put it into human words, what we understood inside. So you'll be disturbed when you understand. You'll see the gang stalking. You'll see the world trying to put you under control with the false God, the authority God. No, the authority is the law of fairness, the universal law of don't do others wrong. That's the authority. There's no other authority above that. It's the boss of everything, every one of us. No matter how powerful you are, that law is above you and rules you. If you violate it, you'll be like Indra, a Hindu story where how wonderful am I slayed the demon and now I got to have a bigger palace and it's not good enough, tear it down, build it over again better. Third time, the carpenter says to Brahma, he prays to the god above Indra for help, and Krishna shows up in the kitchen, a blue-skinned teenage boy. When they're blue, you know they're a god, because nobody's blue. And the march of the ants happens across the kitchen floor in the palace, and Indra's like, where'd these ants come from? And Krishna's just a relaxed teenage boy. Each one of those ants was an Indra like you and got to this place that you're at right now, and they reincarnate as one of those ants. That's how many Indras there are. You're not special, Indra. Do your job right. Get over yourself, you know what I mean? So that's the humbling of Indra. There's a story called The Blasphemy of Jehovah. I heard this from Joseph Campbell, the mythologist, and I'd read about it because I was familiar with the Nag Hammadi library, and I already read of him claiming there's no God above me, and his mom says, you're wrong, my son, the Father's above you. And then another one of the Gnostic teachers says, why are you jealous of other gods if you're the only one? So that was the blasphemy of Jehovah, saying that he's the only God. But they didn't choose Gnostic path. They defeated it with Roman Empire and the older Jewish religion. So instead of them defeating the tyrant god, they just made it even stronger. So it had to wait 2,000 years for the fullness of the gospel. This is what the Mormons are waiting for. It's called the Pleroma in the Nag Hammadi library. The the fullness. And it's been revealed through science. Now, Charles Darwin is one of the great spiritual teachers. He taught us about fish Jesus. People have a problem with being an animal. That's arrogance. That person's probably going to reincarnate as an ant. Stay tuned. I'm going to do more of this.